All right, so we are now officially in boot camp and it's time to start figuring things out. One of the first things that you notice is that the RDCs, the people in charge of you, in charge of the boot camp recruits, they can't swear and they can't touch you. So instead of hearing the words that you've come across in movies like Full Metal Jacket, they're calling you clowns, knuckleheads, and talking to you about how you remind them of a soup sandwich. That was about the most aggressive language that they could use on you. It's a little bit theatrical, and they can't punish you by hitting you or touching you. So instead, when they talk about you getting beat, it meant that you were going to have to do extra push-ups, extra sit-ups, extra mountain climbers, or run around some more. So you did what you were told as much as possible so you didn't get beat. But one of the things that I had working to my advantage was that the kind of activities that you do, my body type is pretty much made for that kind of an environment. I'm 5'8", right around 125 pounds. I can sit there and do push-ups all day long. I can run around all day long. It was the other people that had a harder time with that kind of thing. People that are 200 pounds, people that are strong, people that are big. Even though they look intimidating, they have a tougher time at basic training because they have to work harder. They just have more mass. But the harder part was the head trip. And the quicker you got over the head trip, the better off you were. There are also two different ways to approach the boot camp experience. You either want to get noticed so that you are given responsibility and eventually you're rewarded, or you don't want to get noticed at all, so you stay out of trouble. For the most part, early on, I kept to myself, though, just to sort of see what everybody else was doing. Right off the bat, people start grouping by language, by culture, by size, by prior military experience. You find people sort of like you to kind of make sure everybody watches each other's backs. I was still feeling pretty isolated in my head at that point, so I really left everyone alone and they left me alone. And right away you have to start learning the lingo. The head is the bathroom, the bulkhead is the wall. You have to know what an AROC and an RPOC and an RDC and a Smurf suit are. Pretty quick you figure out what BUDS is and who's in that program. Group accountability comes into play right away too. When one person does something wrong, everybody gets punished for it. One of the things that you hear over and over and over again is look out for your shipmates. If you see one of your shipmates doing something wrong, correct them. Eventually people would get sort of separated into these sections, and then you would have section leaders in charge of them, and they were the ones who kind of kept everyone coordinated. I am not particularly a leader or a follower, but I would listen to my section leaders if they told me the right thing. I would not listen to them if they told me the wrong thing. And that led to one situation where, during one inspection, somehow all of the section leaders got the wrong idea about how to put your pants in your locker. And so all 100 of the people in my ship had their pants put in backwards. But since I didn't listen to the wrong information, I was the only one that got a perfect inspection out of everyone. And that's another one of those funny cases where, what do? Do you fit in with everybody else because everybody else is doing something that you know is wrong, or do you go off on your own and think about things for yourself? That's a constant balance all the way through boot camp. Is doing the right thing the right thing? A lot of the rest of boot camp turns into this big fuzz in my head that kind of feels like one really long day and one really long night. So from here on out, my stories are going to kind of overlap because I really have no idea the order that they went in. We did lots of marching and running and PT and looking through the Blue Jackets manual and standing watch. The next story, though, I will talk about the 3 friends that I did make, and I also have to remember to talk about the incredible amount of water that we had to drink. Totally ridiculous. But I think that's good for now, so more stories to come.